Upset wins are the best wins. At the end of 2018, Tennis Channel made a list of the biggest upsets in tennis history. We had analysts, historians, and former players create that list. But we also let the public re-rank those choices. There are a lot of reasons why we might disagree on which matches to include and in what order to rank them. At the end of the day, it comes down to how you define an upset. And with so much opinion involved, we want to create a way of ranking matches without the emotion. With the 2020 season winding down, we'll specifically look back at the history in New York. So we're setting out to mathematically prove the biggest upset in US Open history. This is Replay, a series where we look at the way numbers have shaped the game we love. See the full video and what we discovered along the way right now on tennis.com and our YouTube page.
Very interesting addition to our video content on tennis.com. Second episode is available online even as we speak. And while we're on the topic of upsets, we wanted to put it out onto the table here of what was the biggest upset that you ever witnessed in the last couple decades in pro tennis. Paul, what's yours?
You know, it's a tough definition, but the one that was most apparent with the emotion was 1989 Lendl and Chang. At the French Open. Yeah. Okay, Chang was only 17 years of age. It was a fourth-round match. Lendl had been crushing everybody. Won his first few matches in straight sets. He won 10 titles that year. Chang was cramping in this match, getting routine 6-4, 6-4. Lendl kind of came unglued a bit emotionally, and I just remember watching Michael hit the underhand serve. I remember the cramps, and I remember him returning close to the service line and the double fault on match point. So the drama of all that for a 17-year-old, even though he was ranked 19 in the world, just to see that transpire when Lendl was dominating, for me, just was really, really sitting on the surface, and I remember it clearly.
That's such an iconic match, and I've talked to Michael about it, and he says a lot of people mistakenly remember that as being the Roland Garros final. Of course, as you said, only the fourth round. He had to beat Edberg in that final. Yeah. What's your biggest upset ever?
Well, Paul took the gentleman. I'm going to take the woman.
There you go.
And I have to go with that Serena Williams unexpected loss to Vinci at the U.S. Open because of the way she had been playing, because she was looking for the four majors to win a Grand Slam. And Vinci really came out of nowhere to have the best result of her career. But I'm going to go to the emotion in the crowd and how Serena was unable to display the game that she had been displaying for the whole season. So to me, that was very surprising.
My unofficial pick is also on the women's side.
What do you got?
It was Kathleen Horvath beating Martina, 83 Roland Garros, because that was the only match that Martina lost all year. Would have had a calendar slam and a perfect record.
That's impressive. That could be one of the best records ever, to lose one match the entire year.
It's almost, Paul, 100% winning percentage.
I was wondering if you were going to ask me what percentage that was.
I know you don't have your calculator with you. So do check out the latest episode of Replay. It's on tennis.com right now as we head to the social net for a Friday. And this is interesting, guys. Lucas Latchko retweeted the message that all the players got today from the Australian Open. And, Paul, it looks like the plans for the weeks leading up to the Australian Open are still in flux.
They're in flux. There's still a lot of negotiation going on with the government. Tennis Australia has their plan in place. They know exactly what they want to do, and it's been mapped out pretty well to both tours, a lot of the agents individually, and now they're just waiting to hear from the government which version of their plan is going to work. But I've got to give kudos to Craig Tiley and his team to come up with a multitude of variations.
Yeah, we're still a long way away, and we have to remember how great Australian health authority have been with their record on the COVID. But it's a big island, but it's still an island. So they have to take their measures, and we're still a long ways away, and Craig Tiley has done a great job. But that just tells you how remarkable it was pulling it off at the U.S. Open and at Roland Garros.
Exactly.
Still a long way to go until the Australian Open.
Just to put a button on it, the Australian Open is a go. It's happening with the bubble and players arriving 15 days early. The question is about, are they going to be able to play ATP Cup and the other events leading into the Australian Open? Right now, the government is saying they can't play in a bubble in the cities outside of Melbourne, but they're trying to appeal that, and we'll keep you posted. Other social net entries today. Roger's back to practice. Paul, do you know this court?
I have been on that court.
Where is it?
It's in Switzerland.
more specifically?
It is somewhere in, I hope that's the same court. That is somewhere in Zurich,
Okay.
the hills of Zurich.
It's a shame it's not picturesque.
It is so beautiful.
That is a beautiful sight right there. I don't know what's better, watching the Roger motion or what's in the background, but that's just a beautiful sight.
It's a good doubles team. The background and Fed's motion. Nice.
And from the beautiful to Benoit Paire.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Those are wash-offables, right?
that's my concern. What do you think?
Come on.
That's what happens when you've been in the bubble for too long.
I love
This guy
Benoit
spends
Paire. That's awesome.
too long in the hotel room by yourself.
I'm really hoping that's magic marker, but it is Benoit Paire, so, who knows, right?
That is hysterical.
If he shows up at if he shows up at Adelaide with that stuff still on his face.
We got our answer.
Okay, fine. And finally, who needs a ball machine when you've got an infant child to sit in the basket and feed to you?
This is so great.
This has to go
Perfect
down as
feeding.
one of the cutest things all year.
Perfect feeding. They're going to make my job as coach extinct.
Obsolete.
Look at the consistency in the throws.
Now,
Same.
if that kid could just book a practice court,
I know, exactly, and get some rackets restrung and be all set.
Paul, we know that coaches do so much more.
Get my racket strong. Which court do I have? Who am I hitting with?
Okay, it's much deeper.
Says a guy
There's
that
a few
coached.
other
It
things.
says a guy that coached Pete Sampras and Roger Federer.
Not what you know, it's who you know.
When we come back, we'll set the stage for tomorrow's semifinals in Bercy. Stay with us.